Hello and welcome to part 3 of my Rubik's Cube coding challenge. So I've done 2 parts already. If you watch those, I'm very thankful to you. But I'm going to do something really important in this. And it's really not about the Rubik's Cube at all. It's really about animation. And I want to be able to just do something to make it a little more visually pleasing to watch it do stuff. So what it does right now is if I hit the space bar, it's going to shuffle a whole bunch of moves, all the possible moves, up, down, left, right, clockwise, counterclockwise. It can do any move along any axis. It's also then going to it's doing a random sequence of 100 moves, and then it's going to do those in reverse. And you can see it looks kind of like it's solving it. Of course, it's not. It's just doing a random sequence and then applying it in reverse. Hit the space bar again. It's going to go again. It's actually doing the same sequence again. So this would be, I think, more, I would be a little more confident that it's working correctly if I could actually watch the cubies rotate themselves to actually turn. So in order to do that, I need to add animation. I need to actually use the rotate function to do that. So I have to figure out how to do that. All right, I think a way that's going to make sense to do this is to create a class called move. And each move is what? It's a given axis. Like what's the axis it's moving, what's the direction it's moving, and then if I'm going to do an animation, I need to animate an angle from 0 to 90 degrees. So I need an angle, which will start as 0. I need to have an axis, and maybe what I'll do is just do x, y, and z. An angle and an axis, and I'll have that axis just stored in variables x, y, and z. So the x will be 1 or -1 if it's right or left. The y will be 1 or -1 if it's up or down. And the z will be 1 or -1 if it's front or back. So that's kind of, I think, how I'll deal with this right now. So when I make a move, I have to give it an x, a y, and a z. And that's all I have to give it. Oh, and a direction. So I need to know whether I'm rotating clockwise or counterclockwise, or the angle is going up or the angle is going down. So this dot x equals x, this dot y equals y, this dot z equals z, this dot direction equals direction, and this is this. Ultimately, I've kind of done this already in the sense that I have these functions called turn z, turn y, turn x. And those actually move the cubes around and rotate their faces, but they do it instantaneously. So what I think I want to do is create an animation that happens, then I finish that animation, then I quickly move everything around, and it'll look as if it's happening seamlessly. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, I'm going to have one move m. I'll call it move. And move m, and forget about this, well, I'll leave the sequence thing in here for a second. Move is a new move, which is going to rotate the z-axis, the front face. So that is 0, 0, 1 in a clockwise direction. That's a move. Then I want to say move.start. I think I'll have a function called start. And what does that do? It sets a variable. I'll have a variable called animating. And it sets animating equal to true. I don't know that I'm going to need this, but I feel like I might need a flag to know when I've started or stopped. So then I need an update function, and what update will do is I could use lerp to like interpolate from 0 to 90 degrees, or I could just increase the angle. So let's just increase the angle right now. I'm going to say angle plus equals direction times some amount like 0.1. So I'm going to increment the angle by 0.1, and if angle is greater than half pi, then angle should go back to being 0, actually. And then I'm going to say animating equals false. So let's just see if I can get this to happen. So basically, if I have a move, and then I say move.start, then in draw, I just want to say move.update. And if I run this, so the data of the move is happening. That angle is changing, but I need to actually rotate these. So the way that I could do that is right here, when I'm showing the cube, I could check and say if cube, well right here I could just say if cube.z equals move.z. Let's just do that, right? If cube.z equals move.z, Then I want to rotate z by move.angle. And I'm going to want to have a push and a pop here. Right? That should then move. Z cannot be resolved or is not a field. Move has a z. Oh, cube index I. If cube index I, right. If cube index I dot z. Here we go. Look at it. It's turning. It's kind of doing something. What's it doing? Why does it keep going? Okay. So update should only update the angle if it's animating. So once it reaches the end, it stops animating. So now we should see it turn. Oh, you know what? I think I'm having this weird issue with processing, which is that it takes a little while for processing to start. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have move.start go into when I press the space bar, just so I can be sure it hasn't started yet. So I'm going to run this sketch. I'm going to hit the space bar. There we go. Look at that. It moves, but look at this. It moves, but the red stuff doesn't stay there because all I'm doing is creating the animation of the moving. I'm not actually updating the data. But I need to update the data so I can do all the future moves. But I think there's an easy thing I can do here, which is I can say move.update if move.finished. Then what do I want to do? Turn z move.direction. Turn z, isn't that a function? Oh, turn z move.z move.direction. So I think there's got to be a way I can encapsulate this into one function. There's no finished. So I probably could just use the animating Boolean, right? Let's add another one. Finished is false. Finished is true. And then Boolean finished, return finished. So now what should happen is it should animate. Oh, because it's doing this over and over again. So in ultimately, I want them, when the move is finished, I want to turn it once and then be done. So really what I should do is put this turn z into the move. Yes. So actually, I don't know if I need that Boolean variable at all. What I want is when it's done, I want to actually just say turn z, move according to this z and this direction, right? And then I don't need this finished stuff. I'm going to keep that in there just in case I need it. So now it should turn. There we go. Look at this. Oh. So now I'm turning it. So this is the idea. This is the logic. I just want to hit the space bar. It's doing every single move. Now the question is, now that I've got this working, how can I make every move work in the same way? So there's some things that are kind of hard-coded in here. For example, this shouldn't always be turn z, right? This should sometimes be turn x, or turn y, or turn z. Before I do that, though, let me just make sure it works in other directions. So for example, if I were to say a -1, that should be the back of the cube. Okay, so that's working. And if I were to say 1, -1, that should be the front of the cube, but going now in counterclockwise direction. Ooh, okay. So that doesn't work. So why doesn't that work? Because if I'm going in counterclockwise direction, I'm going all the way to -½ pi. So that's something I need to fix. So here, if angle, so I could say if absolute value of the angle is greater than ½ pi. So if I'm going in the negative direction, I need to check -½ pi. That should fix that. Great. So now I can go in either direction, only in the z-axis. So what if I make a move that is now the x-axis? Oh, so if I say 1, 0, 0, 1, this should be right. I think I have things flipped, so it might end up being the left in the way that we're looking at it. But if I want to rotate along the x-axis. So if I do that now, it's confused. It's doing something totally nonsensical. So here what I really want to say, if absolute value of cube index I dot z is greater than 0, I probably should have a variable that's keeping track of the actual index. But really what I want to just say is it the z-axis? Then do this. So now nothing should happen. Ooh, something did happen. Oh, it's still doing this, but I shouldn't see that animation. Okay, so let's try to get the x-axis. Else, if the absolute value of cube x and cube x equals move x, then I should say rotate x move dot angle. Right, so this now would do the x-axis, and this should be an else if, because I'm never going to do two at the same time. So this should be rotating the x-axis. The issue is now in move update, when I get to this part, I don't want to do turn z, I want to do turn x. So that I could do the same thing, I guess. If absolute value of z is greater than 0, turn z. Otherwise, if absolute value of x is greater than 0, turn x, x direction. So this should be x. So I'm kind of getting lucky here because there's only 3 possible axes, but it definitely would be useful for me to use like an enumerable with like an index to the axis, but let's just see if this works. So now this should be the x-axis. Awesome. So that works. I've got the x-axis. Now I should be able to do the y-axis, turn the y-axis. Let's just check a y move. Let's make the move 0, 1, 0. Oh, it's not animating. Why is it not animating? Oh, I didn't do that here. I need to add the y. So now this should do the y-axis. Oh no, something's wrong. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. So I think this should be negative angle. Because my y-axis is flipped. Yeah, there we go. You know, I might have, whatever, it works. There might be something that I'm actually done wrong here, but I want the data is moving correctly. I just need to make sure the animation matches that. So now, instead of having this all moves be just these letters, now all moves is an array of move objects. Move, new move array with new move. So up is 0, 1, 0 in the one direction. You know what? I might as well just do them all. I mean, I can always invert them, but let's just actually do them all. So this is up in both directions. This is, okay, hold on. I'm gonna speed through this so you don't have to watch all this. All right, I put in all the moves. Up, down, left, right, front, back, clockwise, counterclockwise. This should be everything. There should be 12 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's all the moves. So I should be able to now pick any given move and, all moves, and animate that one and just sort of see. This sequence stuff has to change. So the sequence stuff I'm going to do in a second, but I was using strings before. That won't work. Let me take this out. So any given move, I should be able to do. So this is move 3, index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that should be the bottom. Oh, I've already spun it. That should be the bottom in a certain direction. Whatever. Great. So hopefully that's the right one that matches up. Now the sequence is, let's make it an array list. An array list of move objects. This will be the sequence. And I know if you're a cuber, there's actually like a back 2, but I'll just consider that back in the same direction twice for now. So we can consider this to be an array list of moves. And when I'm making that sequence, if I'm going to make, let's just do 10. I'm going to pick the size, and I'm going to say, pick an index. Then I'm going to have move m equals all moves get that index. And this has an extra, wait, int random all moves size. Sorry, all moves is an array. Moves is an array list. So that's index, all moves index r. That stays the same. And then I'm going to say sequence dot add m. So this is me putting in 10 moves in a sequence. So let's not worry about inverting the sequence. Let's not flip case, I think, is no longer a thing anymore. And then I need a current index is current move, which is counter. So I also need this to be, let's call this current move. So there's a current move, and current move starts at current moves equals sequence get counter. So it gets the first one. Then I'm going to say current move update. Guess what? This finished thing is going to come in handy. Perfect. If current move is finished, then index, what would I call counter, plus plus, and current move equals sequence dot get counter. And I definitely need to make sure that I only do this if counter is less than sequence dot length. So I'll put this if statement in here. I don't think, and I'm going to do this, put this sequence in here, and then I'm going to say if started around here. So this is how sequence dot size, not length. So this is the same exact algorithm, but instead of the move being indicated by a single character, it's now this object. So I'm updating that move when it's done, as long as I'm not at the end of the sequence, go to the next one and then get the next one. And then this current move is what determines the rotation. And so I called it just move before, but let's call it current move. And I think this should work now. Oh, move.start. Oh, okay, I'm not going to worry. Oh, this should be just started equals true. So now it's just a Boolean, but I'm not starting the. This could be current move start. This actually could be current move start. So because this can actually, current move update could happen if it's not animating. So yes, so I just want to start, hitting the spacebar starts the first move, which does all of these. And then each one, because I have this start function, needs to actually explicitly call start. Okay, this I think should work. So if I press the spacebar, you should see the moves happen in sequence. Oh! What? If counter is less than, it's got to be less than size minus 1, because this is where I increment. So I'm going to the next one. The last one is size minus 1. So that's good. So let's give it 50 random moves. And let's get it started. So now it's playing 50 random moves. It's a little silly that sometimes the moves are inverted. So now I should be able to add that sequence. What just happened there? Oh! I'm not making a copy of the move. So a move is like animated and finished, and then when it gets it again, if it does that move again, it's not like a copy of the move. So this should actually be, when I make that sequence, yes, this should be like all moves.clone, or because there's a way to clone objects, but I'm just going to write my own copy function. So all moves index r.copy, or when I call start, I could set, I think it's actually as simple as just setting, you know what, I might be able to just not do a copy, but set the angle back to 0. Couldn't I do that? If animating equals true, finished equals false. Like that might actually work. So I could have made a copy of the move, but I think just in start, since I have to do that with everything, that might fix it. Let's see if that fixes it. A bunch of moves. It's going to do the same move again, just by the laws of probability. I think this is working, dare I say, and I can still spin around it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's making any mistakes. So now let's make a speed. Let's just make that a global variable. And right now it's 0.1, so let's make it like 0.5 to make it kind of faster. And then in move, this, I mean, I suppose that could be a property of the move itself. But let's just see it do it faster, because that's more fun to watch it do it faster. So let's see if now, if I add the moves in reverse, when it's done, it should be solved. That I have all the moves. Now all I need to do is go through the sequence backwards, right? Start with the last element of the sequence, go down to 0. Oh, this is where I kind of want to, I do need to make a copy, because I need to make it a completely different move in the opposite direction. So I do want to say move, next move equals sequence get I, and I really actually need a copy here, so we'll see this both ways, because then I want to say like next move dot reverse. So in the move object, or though I could just point to the other move, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm just figuring it out. I'm just having fun figuring this out. I'm going to make a function called copy, which returns a new move with what? X, Y, Z, and direction. And then I'm going to make a function called reverse, which just says direction times equals -1. So this, if I make those two functions, as I'm going through the sequence, I'm copying all of them but reversing them. And now I have, it should be twice as long. So let's just do this with just like 5 moves just to see if it works. Oh, I've got to add them. No wonder. I've got to add those moves. Wah, wah. OK. Let's go. Here we go. So it should do those moves in reverse. And boom, there's the Rubik's Cube back in its original state. Now, here we go. Let's make it full screen. And enjoy this. Make it a little bit faster. Enjoy this Rubik's Cube doing 500 moves, then in reverse. This is going to take a long time. Let's not do 500. Let's just do 100. And you will get the feeling of the cube solving itself. You know, I really should do something where if I pick a certain move, I'm not allowed to pick the reverse of that move next, because that's going to make it look really weird. Like, why is it doing that? But that's neither here nor there. Let me actually draw the counter so I can see what move we're on, because that'll be somewhat useful. So I'm going to say fill 255, text, counter, I don't know. It's just going to end up being in 3D space in some weird location. Let's just say 100. Counter 100, 100. Oh, the scale is going to be weird. Let's just try that. Text size 32. All right, let me put this. Let's have some fun with this. Let me put this on speed of 1.5. Let me make it do 1,000 moves. And here we go. And thank you for watching this coding challenge. Oh, well, it's not, you're not really seeing the rotation. It's just like shaking. OK, that's too fast. Let's try a speed just of like 1.0. All right, thanks for watching this coding challenge where I am shuffling the Rubik's Cube with random moves, then playing those moves back in reverse. It's going to, when it gets to 2,000 moves, it will actually be back in its original orientation. I hope that works. I hope you make your own version of this. If I come back and make a part 4, which I intend to do, I'm going to see if I can use a genetic algorithm to take any shuffled state and evolve a solution within maybe a certain number of moves. I suppose 20 might be the number of to pick in terms of the genetic information, which will be a sequence of moves. This should be similar to what I did with searching for the phrase to be or not to be in the space of all possible random phrases. We'll see if that works. I have no other idea if that will work, but I'm going to come back and do more with this in part 4 in a future coding challenge. And please share with me. Go to thecodingtrain.com, look at the link in this video's description to, if you make a version of this, whether it's in JavaScript or processing or some other programming language or environment, you can submit a link to your version so that I can see it and the rest of the community can as well. All right, thanks very much. Goodbye.